Hey Internet, I'm Chaz.
I'm Dan, and this is Wine is Serious Business, episode 84. We're here to do some Washington white wines today, and we've got a guest, a friend of ours from the Valley, Ryan Reichert. Why don't you tell us a little bit about who you are and what you do?
Sure. So my name's Ryan. I am a writer for Northwest Whites, a blog that I write, focusing on the Pacific Northwestern white wines in Oregon, Washington, Idaho, and BC. In addition to that, I am the managing editor for Palette Press magazine, which is an online wine publication at palettepress.com.
Cool stuff. So really busy guy, covers a lot of ground, and we like to think that we're offering something specific and interesting by focusing on, doing mostly wines from the Northwest, but he's even more specific, right? Narrowed down to specific states, only white wines, some really detailed descriptions and some great information on that blog, right? You call it a blog, or you call it,
blog website, yeah.
What got you into doing it initially?
I started writing about wine back in 2007, and I started a blog called Enophile when I was living in Ohio, really just as a selfish pursuit to kind of learn more about wine by writing about it.
That's a great way to do it, man.
Yeah, we can identify with that.
Yeah. I moved here then in December of 2010, so not too long ago, and just fell in love with the region and decided, I drink a lot of white wine as is. They're great food wines, and they're really interesting and I think underappreciated here. So Pinot Noir Syrah gets all the credit, which is well deserved, but
right, sure.
There are some awesome whites too.
All right.
Absolutely.
So wine number one here is the 2008 Roussan from Syncline. It says Horse Heaven Hills on the back here, I guess. Yep. So it's all from there. 300 cases produced, small run. Syncline's pretty well known for their Syrah, I think. I'm not super familiar with it, but I hear about it a lot. A little bit of steely mineral note on the nose, along with some fruity funk, kind of like fruit drawer in the refrigerator.
Yeah.
I'm struggling initially with this. There's sort of a oily component to it.
It's like a waxy fruit.
Yeah, waxy fruit. There you go. I didn't want to call it olive oil, but it was definitely heavily waxed pears or
definitely a heavier nose. A little bit of a floral note there. Fruit's kind of escaping me. Again, it's got a heavier feel to it. It's got a really light flavors but heavy texture, I think.
Yeah,
absolutely.
Yeah, almost has a viscosity to it, which I think is typical with this varietal, right? I mean.
Yeah, Roussan, you get that really that weight. I think that honey and complexity and that kind of dried floral characteristic sometimes.
And my palate is completely missing right now.
I'm getting some yellow apples with really thick skins, a little bit of white grape thing going on, a little bit of alcohol that I can detect, kind of on the back end there. Oh, damn. Yeah, there is.
It is warm.
14.2. So it's it's a warmer weather white grape, right?
Totally.
So that's pretty common for the style. You can tell that they're going for that to kind of loosen up that heavier texture.
What the hell am I tasting? This doesn't happen very often, but I don't drink a lot of Roussan.
Yeah,
so
me neither.
Yeah.
There's definitely some pear and I get a candied citrus almost.
Okay.
So not sweetness, but kind of a cooked down citrus zest, so that waxy fruit, but not
maybe
fresh.
even a dehydrated sort of.
Almost, like dehydrated oranges maybe, or
pineapple.
Yep.
Oh, interesting. Yeah, like in the trail mix or something like that. Wow, that's dead on. That's dead on.
Sort of medium acidity, not a whole ton of acidity to sort of back up this sort of roundness and largeness of the fruit initially. But yeah, a fair amount of heat on the finish for me, which I don't know. I don't usually detect, but then again in white wines I'm not that used to it. They're not usually that high alcohol, so
that's pretty hot for a 2008 even. I mean, I imagine Horse Heaven Hills is probably really hot there anyhow. So, and it's interesting to see this on its own too, instead of blended with anything. So usually you get Roussan, Viognier, Marsanne blends, etc. So I think it's nice to have it on its own as that kind of one note, and it gives you an idea of what that adds to the blend. I think too, definitely that texture and that weight.
What Cowhorn was it? Straight Roussan?
It was.
Yep. Man, that was one of the best white wines I've had out of Southern Oregon. Period.
But I think very interesting contrast, because that was definitely lighter and brighter in style, which is more in line with both of our palates. But I'd say less traditional, right? Because Roussanne typically, in the French Roussanne is coming from really hot areas usually, and the few experiences I've had, like with white CDPs and stuff, have been much more in line with this style. Yeah, and just heavier. But however that works out, pretty well done. Not really up my alley. So 86 points for me. But decent wine if you like the heavier style of Roussanne. Probably worth your time to check out.
The textures here are really nice, and the flavors, are good as well. But man, the heat on the finish is still detracting me a little bit from it. So 84 points for me. Good wine.
It is, yeah, that is nice. It's got good solid texture. You're right, the acidity is, I think, for me, lacking. But it's not. I don't think you're expecting really high acid from Roussanne either. So.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right. Cool. All right. On to wine number 2. We're gonna do the sleight of hand. It's the Columbia Valley white wine here. So it's just the Magician. Yes. White blend. 2009.
Did this when we were up at the Bloggers Conference, or no?
I don't know if it was this vintage or not, and that was the walkabout at the end of the day.
Yeah,
so
we were.
There's a little. It's definitely a little cloudy how that played out.
True.
But I've had good wines from these guys in the past. I think he has a good feel for blending. Some of the red blends I've had, and I know I've enjoyed other vintages of this before. All right, do that before.
Yeah, strangely, I do not recall seeing you guys there. Unfortunately,
I saw your pictures. Yeah, I saw your pictures, and I'm like, I remember that truck.
Right.
I remember those tables. Like,
I don't think we knew each other then.
No, I don't
right?
think so either.
Yeah.
No, but I remember I went to Sleight of Hand as well, and like the reds were just knockout. I really enjoyed your Syrah, the different blends they made.
Which winery did you make it to on like the bus trip?
The bus trip we went to Fournier, I think, the one that was owned by the French couple, right there in town. And then out of town, we went to Waters for lunch, which was just stellar.
Jealous.
That'd be a good
Really,
time.
really good.
Waters makes excellent wine.
Yeah.
Really good.
They've got good second labels too. I mean, like Substance Wines is one.
I
of
didn't
their
know
second
that.
labels.
That was them.
So,
Yeah.
cool.
Yeah.
It's pretty good stuff.
Dan coming, throwing big pours my way. Look at this.
Yeah, maybe
Trying to get
help
Chaz drunk.
warm that palate up.
Trying to get Chaz drunk.
It's your weekend.
Yeah,
That's true.
It's your weekend.
That's true.
Much brighter on the nose.
Yeah.
This is definitely more, more up my alley. At least
more
where this
expressive.
goes, right? A little bit of limes, kind of some light flower stuff. Man, I've been really enjoying Saint Germain in cocktails lately, so I'm getting that elderflower note.
Nice.
Probably more than I should, but I'm totally getting it here.
Just bright, like Honeycrisp apple, like
Nice.
ripe, delicious apple that has like a lot of flavor.
Yeah,
and
not
a lot
like
of-
super green, right?
Right.
Just
No. This is
full.
more on the red side, or a combination.
Good
It's just a
fruit.
sweeter apple flavor.
Something pink and crisp. Yeah.
Yes.
really inviting.
Delicious. Very, very inviting nose.
I wonder, does it say what the blend is? I mean, I'm totally getting lychee from Gewurz on this.
Yep, there you go. 60% Gewurz.
Yeah,
There you
get
go.
that spice.
40
that
Riesling.
floral, it's just so characteristic.
There you go.
It does make sense.
I really like how this hits on the palate. I think the Gewurz, again, is giving a little bit of that heavier character, a little thicker texture, but the acidity here is definitely a little higher up. Getting a little bit of mineral flavor along with the acidic zing kind of on the front of the palate. I like how that's playing out.
Delicious flavors here. More of those apples I was talking about. There is some. Oh man,
Getting a little bit of
my palate's failing
a
today.
little bit of lighter apricot, I think.
Yeah. I'm kind of like, definitely stone fruit. I get a lot of peach on the nose as I keep going back to it, but not necessarily, it's almost fake peach. Like an artificial peach flavor.
Sure, and that's where I went with the apricot. Yeah, 'cause it's not like the big, rich, juicy peach. It's
Right.
a little more removed from that.
Like the canned peaches.
Yeah.
I mean, those are still real, right? With the juice left afterwards.
Yep, exactly.
Sort of thing.
And the acidity is
Yeah.
nice up front, but it falls.
It doesn't run across the back of the palate. Wow, that's a really good point. Yep, I like how it feels in the front, and the finish is pretty solid too. Like some of those peachy flavors kind of linger around. The acidity sticks around again in the front. Pretty well put together. Enjoyable drink. Man, I want to say that this is.
Good body. Too.
Yeah, these are both
nice.
These are both under $20. And man, I should remember exactly, but I don't. Nice, fun, like very pleasant bottle of wine. Well blended.
Yeah, a crowd pleasing style that I could see almost anyone enjoying. Right. This is so nice and so just immediately pleasing that I'm
Welcome
seeing.
wine.
Yeah, welcome wine, absolutely.
And it's got, because I think with the Gewurz you get that hint of sweetness that even if it's not sugar on the palate, you get that sweet characteristic.
Absolutely.
But it doesn't, it's not like Kool-Aid or something like that, so you're right, it is very, very universally enjoyable.
Exactly. Totally.
Man, just that little bit of spice. I'd say the Riesling characters aren't very powerful here. I'd say the Gewurz definitely dominates both the flavor and the aromatics here. Like I can get little bits, when you talk about the apple flavors or whatever, but leaning more in the direction of the Gewurz.
I would agree with that.
87 plus points for me. Like I said, pretty straightforward. Not something that you're going to sit and think about and be in awe of, but it's really it delivers on the inviting nose. It's fun. It's enjoyable. It would be it'd be approachable to a lot of people. So I like that.
I'm gonna ditto to what Dan said, but 88 points for me because I really like this. This is I would buy this and drink this. Yeah, I'll just stop there. I'm just go ahead.
Yeah.
It is. It's really
Bad show for Chad.
really approachable, and I think the lack of the heat that the Roussan has. What's the alcohol on the side?
Yeah, let me see what I can find here. There's so much text on this
Yeah,
bottle.
it's really
going to take me. There we go. 12.7.
Okay, yeah. So totally a lower alcohol wine. Super approachable. Awesome with food. I bet. You could do a lot of different foods with this one.
And I was even going to run with that. So in a lot of his blog write-ups, he talks about food, and I kind of enjoy reading that stuff. So what, off the top of your head, if you're going to take this home and drink it with food tonight, what would you want to cook with it?
It's easy for me to always go to something that's got like a marinated, like an Asian marinade to it.
Sure.
And especially, I'm a vegetarian, so eat a lot of tofu, and I'm always looking for interesting ways to cook it and vegetables to make with it. So, if you did like maybe a baked tofu with some spiciness, or chicken or pork or whatever you have, something with a little bit of spiciness, because even if it's not got a lot of residual, it seems like it's a little sweeter, which I think would balance nicely.
Nice.
It's amazing how good the combination of like Spätlese level Riesling with Thai curry, spicy Thai curry is. At this point, I think everyone's done it, but man, it's just every time I do it, it's just yes. The whole time I'm eating, every bite, every sip, just mind blown,
Just a solid pairing.
It's such from completely different parts of the world too, right? Like you think they came up together, but. All right, wine number 3. This is the Composer. It's from Ross Vineyards. I was at a tasting of these guys lately. They're a lot more famous for their red wines, but I was excited to try the Riesling. Knocked my socks off at the time. I really liked it. I got to share it with Chaz. I got to put it on the show. The label is absolutely gorgeous. One of my favorite local labels, and I'm going to even say that even in the picture I put up, you're probably not going to get the full view of it. It's really rich, well put together. It's beautiful. So talk.
Don't blow it up too much. What if we hate it?
I don't care. I'm already excited about it. So.
Definitely coming from the sleight of hand, this is a lighter nose, right?
Definitely,
And so taking me a second to sort of come back. Not that my palate has really been on fire tonight anyway, but
it just kind of and I agree that it's definitely like it doesn't leap out of the glass. Like both the others had a lot more aromatics going on. Besides like some delicate apples, I'd say the minerality is present on the nose right away.
Absolutely.
Kind of a little bit of austerity to it, right? Like it's a little reserved. It's a little kind of making you wonder about it.
I'm curious to see what it smells like in maybe 20 minutes or so, because I think it really needs to open up a little more.
That could be, yeah.
You get kind of like almost like a funk on the nose. Like that's the first thing that hit me, and then I just got a lot of minerality and zest and citrus.
The minerality is sort of a trade-off between stainless and almost like a crushed pumice nose or something like that. Crushed white stone. It smells nice, and the more we're shaking it up, I can smell it a little more. If we need to make a cut at any point, we can.
Yeah, maybe we will. That's fine.
Well,
I still say let's just.
Yeah, no, we'll pound through it, and if we come back to this in 20 minutes and it has changed, then we'll all sit back down and we'll continue on with the tasting. So
we'll revisit it.
Yeah.
This really has, one of the things that really struck me about it is it's got the acidity that I love. It's got kind of like, it's got like this gentle touch to it. It retains a lot of poise all the way across the palate, hits from front to back, and it rests really well on the back end. Makes the mouth water. you know, the flavors never get too powerful, but it's just this nice, clean apple that kind of runs down the sides.
I totally agree.
Even while you're rinsing around in the mouth, like the flavor starts to come in on the start of the tongue, and like I was surprised even while, I mean, initially when you're shaking wine up in your mouth, I sort of don't taste it a lot before I start to swallow it. And this was like full on flavor, like those delicious apples you're talking about right off the bat. But man, so gentle in acidity, but tons of it, lots of it, really, really good.
Wow.
That's good wine.
That's nice acid. That's like, you need to stop before you say anything because you're going to spit on somebody. Your mouth is watering so much.
And crazy length, and it's not powerful length. It's not like these flavors dominating, but just as I'm sitting here talking, I'm just like, yeah, they're just, the apples are sitting there just like real lightly, but still totally present while the acid continues to dry things out.
Am I weird for saying there's like a red fruit component to this? A strawberry component or something on the palate, not on the nose at all, but it sort of reminds
like a flavor you'd get from like a strawberry, like a fresh strawberry that's not totally sweet. It's got a little bit of that bite to it still.
Right. And that's what I'm sort of getting in the center of my palate.
I can see that, sure.
Yeah. I keep, the flavor that initially presents itself is, I've tasted it before in something and I can't place it right now. It sort of reminds me, you're going to hate me for saying this, but like of watermelon or strawberry Jolly Ranchers. But not that flavor. Just something about it is like that. And it's weird, but it's absolutely delicious. My favorite candy in the world is
Yeah.
strawberry and watermelon Jolly Ranchers, yeah.
Yeah, it is. It's like an underripe strawberry.
Yeah.
You make me want to try one of those.
Yeah. And it's interesting because like I'm not crazy about the nose. The nose isn't super complex. It's not really floral or fruity or anything. I mean,
You're not expecting much.
no, the palate is just great. It's really nice on the palate.
And the length of the fruit is, and the acidity.
And I really
This is good wine.
And that's something that I haven't seen out of a lot of Washington Rieslings. And I'm curious, you know, you've got a lot of experience with them too, but like this light acidity, I'd say to me, characteristics that are common to Washington Rieslings are a little more heavier apple flavors, like apple skins. The Riesling's a little on the heavier side, just with that thicker, heavier feel. Not that it's flabby, even when it's well executed, it's just got a heavier acidity to it. And this really breaks away from that. I know these are some older vines, you know, and just put together so well, I think. So.
Yeah. Have you had other wines by this producer that, I mean, is their style to kind of focus on maybe a longer aging wine that's a little more olden style, or?
Boy, I should know. So I had the reds from him. I've never had any other whites.
They were warm
And
climate reds.
yeah, warm climate reds, and scored well. So right, these are scored well by the professional critics. Like, so these are heavier styles for the most part, bigger wines, right? Like Washington Syrahs and stuff like that. That were solid. And you know, I would say stylistically, I guess I couldn't draw a lot of parallels, but my experience is pretty limited. Those of you who are watching, I know some of you are pretty familiar with Rasa. I'd love to hear your analysis of that question that Ryan just asked, see if you have any more thoughts on that. But really digging this.
Yeah, this is really, really good and complex in the sense that I keep coming back to it and thinking about it. This is one where the sleight of hand, I was like, I just want to drink this, not think about it, dance around the house and cook or whatever. The Rasa, it forces you to think about it. You taste it and you're like, wow.
And it's different, right? Like stuff's going on.
Well, yeah, because you keep licking your teeth and your gum.
Yeah.
It's like I don't
Top of the palate, yeah.
Yeah, I don't want to quite take another drink yet because I'm still enjoying how it feels in my mouth. Yeah,
Absolutely.
Really good.
So 90 points for me, one of the best American Rieslings I've had, and the best from Washington.
Absolutely, 91 plus for me, and the best Washington Riesling I've had, bar none.
Nice. I really enjoy it. I'm curious, like I said, totally excited to see how the nose develops, but I think the texture, the structure, the flavors, and the length are really important. Right? I mean, it definitely shines.
Ageability's probably there, right?
Absolutely. I mean, it's an 09. I mean, with that kind of acid, you could probably age it another 7 to 10 years. I mean.
Yeah, and looking forward to future vintages. So, cool stuff. So that's our lineup. Wrap things up. Our guest has a question for you.
So I'd like to know what your most preferred white blend from the Pacific Northwest is. So that includes Oregon, Washington, BC, and Idaho, and why.
Wow. I don't even have an answer for that right now.
Brooks Amicus has been killing it for me
It's
lately.
really, really good wine, yeah.
That's been great stuff.
Anyway.
All right, thanks for watching. See you next week.